My name is Detective Malcolm Rhodes, and when I'm not out tracking down small-time crooks or filing endless paperwork, I sometimes find myself unwillingly caught in the ridiculous theater of suburban entitlement. It was a dreary Tuesday, the kind where the sky looked like someone had wrung out a mop over the city of flat, miserable gray that seemed determined to seep into every pore of your skin. I was already running late for my shift at the precinct and just needed to grab gas. Before hitting the station, nothing heroic, nothing dramatic, just gas. I pulled into the Chevron on Langston Boulevard, mind already juggling a dozen things, half-finished reports, an overdue dentist appointment, and the slowly dying hope of making it through the day without someone ruining it. I rolled up to the pump, swiped my card, and started filling my loyal but battered Ford Fusion. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. A detective still driving a Ford Fusion in a world of Teslas and Tahoes. What can I say? It keeps me humble and invisible. Exactly how I like it. That's when I heard it, the sharp, purposeful click-clack of high heels striking the pavement. It was the kind of sound that didn't suggest walking, it announced an arrival. An announcement made even louder by the grating voice that followed. Excuse me. I didn't even have to look. The energy was unmistakable. Like a sudden shift in the atmosphere, the telltale scent of entitlement filled the air. Slowly, reluctantly, I turned toward the sound. Standing there in all her suburban glory was a woman who looked like she had been bred in a lab, specifically for HOA board meetings and wine tastings. Platinum blonde bob, giant sunglasses big enough to double as riot shields, a pink cardigan draped over her shoulders like a cape. Pearls, of course. It was like someone had photocopied every Karen meme on the internet and brought her to life. In my head, I immediately christened her Beverly Prime. Yes, ma'am, I asked, doing my best to keep my voice neutral. My car, she said, waving a manicured hand toward her pristine white Lexus SUV, needs gas. And you are going to fill it for me. For a second, I thought maybe I'd misheard her. I mean, surely even the most entitled soccer mom wouldn't saunter up to a stranger at a gas station and demand they serve her like some gas station valet. Right, wrong. Come again, I said. She huffed and exaggerated, put upon sigh that nearly ruffled the carefully coiffed shell of her hair. I'm late for my spin class, she said, as if that explained everything. I simply don't have time to do it myself. You will assist me. I blinked at her. For the record, I've been asked to do a lot of things in my line of work: locate lost pets, mediate arguments about trash bins, break up brawls over barbecue sauce at tailgates, but this one took the cake. Ma'am, I said carefully, I'm filling up my own car. I'm late too. You'll need to pump your own gas. Her mouth tightened into a thin, furious line behind her designer sunglasses. Do you know who I am? She demanded. Here it comes. I am the vice chair of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, she declared, as if announcing she was the Secretary of State. Congratulations, I said dryly, turning back to my car, hoping she would take the hint. But Beverly Prime wasn't the quitting type. Oh no. She stepped closer, heels stabbing the concrete like accusations. This is harassment, she shrieked. You are refusing to assist a woman in distress. I could have walked away. Really, I could have. But curiosity got the better of me. And how exactly, I asked, is needing gas a distress situation? She gasped like I'd slapped her with a wet trout. Then, with all the solemnity of a TV judge banging a gavel, she pulled out her phone. I'm calling the police, she announced. Now, normally, when someone says that, there's a twinge of concern, maybe even a little apprehension. Not today. Not with this woman. Not with me. Please, I said, smiling. Be my guest. And she did. Right there in the middle of the Chevron parking lot, Beverly Prime dialed 911. Yes, I'm at the Chevron on Langston Boulevard, she said, oozing distress into every syllable. I need an officer immediately. I'm being harassed by an aggressive black man who refuses to assist me, and I fear for my safety. She said black like it was an essential detail, like it justified everything. I finished topping off my tank, calmly replaced the nozzle, and sauntered into the store to grab a coffee. Through the wide glass windows, I could still see her pacing like a caged animal, spitting venom into her phone. When I returned, She practically lunged at me. "He's leaving," she screamed into her phone. "You need to arrest him." I gave her a casual salute as I slid into my Fusion and drove off. Where to? Straight to the police station, of course. Arriving at the precinct, I made my way to Captain Marissa Landon's office. She was behind her desk, glasses perched on the end of her nose, scanning a file like it owed her money. "Morning, Captain," I said, knocking lightly. "You might want to send a unit down to the Chevron on Langston. Seems like there's a bit of a situation." "Details, roads," she said, not looking up. I told her the story, omitting, of course, that I was the aggressive black man in question. When I finished, she chuckled dryly. "Let me guess," she said. "Platinum blonde, probably wearing enough perfume to gas a rhino?" "That's the one." She shook her head. "Officer Stein's nearby. I'll send him to babysit. You get to work on that Peterson case." "Yes, ma'am." For the next few hours, I buried myself in paperwork, but I couldn't resist checking in on the saga. During my lunch break, I strolled casually to dispatch. "Anything new on the Chevron drama?" I asked. Tyler, the dispatcher on duty, grinned. "Officer Stein's still with her. She's refusing to leave without filing an official report. Wants charges pressed for failure to uphold community standards." I nearly snorted coffee out of my nose. "Tell Stein to stall her," I said. "I'm heading over." 15 minutes later, I pulled up to the station's public entrance, and there she was, Beverly Prime, sitting stiffly in the waiting area, tapping one manicured finger against her Coach handbag like a ticking time bomb. I took a deep breath, squared my shoulders, and approached her. "Good afternoon, ma'am," I said. "Detective Rhodes. I understand you wanted to file a complaint." Her head whipped up so fast I thought she might get whiplash. "You," she screeched. "Me," I confirmed, nodding politely. "I was told you'd be arrested," she shrilled. "Ma'am," I said calmly, "filing a false police report is a serious crime, especially when it involves knowingly lying about someone committing a felony." The blood drained from her face. "I didn't lie," she whispered. "Didn't you?" I asked. "You claimed you were harassed, threatened, intimidated, all because someone refused to pump your gas?" She opened her mouth, closed it. "You have two options," I said, leaning forward slightly. "Option 1, we proceed with filing charges against you for false reporting. Option 2, you write a formal apology, acknowledge your mistake, and we move on." But she sputtered. My husband's on the city council." "Good for him," I said. "Which will it be?" In the end, she chose the apology. She always do. I watched as she painstakingly wrote out a full-page groveling letter, each word dripping with self-pity. When she finally left her heels clicking a far less triumphant rhythm, I couldn't help but feel a deep, bone-deep satisfaction. A few days later, Captain Landon slapped a file on my desk. "Complaint came through," she said. "Filed under emotional distress by public servant." She smiled grimly. "I filed it exactly where it belongs," she added. "The shredder." And that, my friends, is how I dealt with Beverly Prime at a gas station on a Tuesday morning that should have been nothing more than ordinary. The moral of the story? Never assume, never underestimate, and for heaven's sake learn how to pump your own gas.